Enhanced unemployment benefits are expiring for millions of Americans after being in place for about a year and a half. We want to bring in Rick Newman, who's looking into what this could mean for the jobs market. And Rick, I think the big question, obviously, coming off of these enhanced unemployment benefits is how big of an impact this will have on jobs, whether or not it's going to get some of those unemployed Americans back into the workforce. What do you think?
Yeah, this is a very interesting pivot moment, economically speaking. So we've known that these benefits were going to expire. They ran through September 5th. I'm sure our audience will recall, Republican governors in about half the states actually ended those benefits early over the summer because they said it was preventing workers from going out and getting jobs, which was bad for businesses. There's been data since then that suggests that was not the case at all. But we're going to get a real test case here now. So there were something like 11 million people whose extra benefits, those extra federal benefits, expired on September 6th. So that is 11 million people who, in theory, if you believe that these benefits have been keeping people out of the workforce, are now going to start going and looking for jobs and competing for all these jobs that are open. Now, just a few numbers here. The official number of unemployed people is 8.4 million people right now. There are more people collecting that unemployment or who were collecting that federal unemployment aid just because of the way you define unemployed. There are people like gig workers who don't technically count as unemployed, but they were getting the aid. And we have about 10 million jobs open. So that's a lot of people, if you believe this theory, who will now be going after those 10 million open jobs. However, the evidence just doesn't suggest that that is the main reason people have been staying on the sidelines out of work. So we're gonna find out over the next, let's call it 4 to 6 to 8 weeks, whether some of these people who are getting federal jobless benefits now say it's time to go look for a job. I have my doubts, but we'll find out.
And Rick, I think that also brings up the question about reskilling the workforce. And this is something we talked to the CEO of Goodwill about on Friday after that jobs report. And he's really focused on helping so many Americans gain the skills that they need in order to adapt to the changing workforce. And I guess we will find out how big of an impact the expiration of the enhanced unemployment benefits will have on the jobs market. But I also think that points to the question of what needs to be done in order to skill some of these workers who have been out of the workforce and best bring them back into the workforce, and I guess in the most appropriate jobs.
And in the most appropriate place. I mean, so people may hear we have 10 million open jobs and we have around 10 million unemployed people. So why don't the unemployed people just fill all the open jobs? It sounds like it might be kind of simple, at least mathematically, but it's not. You highlight a very good reason why this is not so simple. A lot of the people who are unemployed don't have the skills needed for the jobs that are open. Many of them are not in the right place. We have, places have closed, businesses have closed in one place, and jobs are popping up someplace else. We also know that there are a fair amount of workers who say they are still very concerned about getting sick on the job, especially with the Delta variant of COVID now surging in some parts of the country. And another variable is parents who might like to work, except they're home with kids. So, kids who might be doing remote school or still doing hybrid schooling. So we got a lot of different things that is contributing to this so-called labor shortage. And the expiration of the federal jobless benefits is just one of them. So even when that is no longer a factor, we're going to have plenty of other things that are kind of roiling this muddy labor market.
Rick Newman, thanks as always for breaking that down for us.